The other story we're keeping an eye on, of course, are developments out of the Western Cape High Court. And that's where the urgent application from the Democratic Alliance and the Economic Freedom Fighters will be heard. The parties are seeking to block the VAT increase that is due to kick off on the 1st of May. It was filed in April. The application challenges the legality of that VAT hike as part of the revised fiscal framework. And it's a development that has sparked divisions with the government of national unity. To help us wade through those murky waters, we've invited Dr Azar Jammine, who is, of course, the Director and Chief Economist at Econometrix. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. At this stage in the game, is this VAT increase a fait accompli, or is there still wiggle room?
I suspect, Bongani, that it is a fait accompli in terms of being introduced on the 1st of May. What is not clear is whether that VAT increase will be sustained through the coming months. In the event of this decision being overturned in the High Court, or nullified or declared illegal in the High Court, there will have to be a retraction of the VAT increase in due course within the next couple of months. So, yes, it looks likely that we will see the VAT increase coming in next week, but it's not certain that it will be sustained way beyond a month or two.
Just explain practically what that might do to people who are running businesses. For example, how you invoice, adding 0.5% for 2 months, taking it away 2 months later, and of course the broader implications of the cost of things.
Well, nowadays the things have become so much more digitized. It shouldn't be too much of a problem to implement and then to retract. But what does bother one is the tendency and the temptation, once businesses have increased prices, to then reduce the prices subsequently by the same amount. There'll be an inclination to want to just sustain the new price at the higher level rather than reduce it. We're talking about a very small percentage here, and it's more a bother than anything else for most people. And unfortunately, it's a huge red herring, because what we should really be concerned with is the fact that the budget was formulated on the basis of a 1.8% growth rate for the South African economy this year. And we know with what's happening internationally with the tariff regime and the potential for the world to go into a real tailspin in coming months, that 1.8% growth rate could turn out to be substantially lower. And then the revenue that the government was budgeting for will turn out to be far, far less. And the 13.5 billion that would have been collected extra through this VAT increase would pale into insignificance.
And that's the worry, is it not? Because you mention the US tariff issue, but also the real possibility, in fact, likelihood at this stage, that AGOA might be off the table. And that has implications for our exports in a number of sectors. And if we didn't have this 13.5 billion rand, that shortfall, before any of those were factors, where are we going to get it now?
Well, that is the whole point. And I think the whole message of the opposition to this VAT increase, by the way, not only by the DA and the EFF, but by the majority of the population and even a lot of the people within the ANC itself, is that people are saying, why should the man in the street bear the brunt of the decision to raise taxes when the government should really have been looking for other ways of cutting expenditure and excesses long before making this decision?
I know you're not a lawyer here, but obviously today's hearing is around the urgency of the application. If you're saying then to me that regardless of what emerges from the court today, this might be effected for a month or two and reversed at a later stage, would you then say there can be a strong argument to be made for a decision to be made urgently?
Well, yes, I think so, because at the end of the day, I think we're dealing with people's standard of living and cost of living and quality of life. So I do believe that there is an urgency, and who knows? I don't know enough about the legal process, but is it potentially possible to try and stave off that increase by next week? But already, as I say, the dilemma I have is, will companies abide by that reversal and reduce prices or retract the increases that they have already announced?
You got a call from Enoch Godongwana and people at Treasury and said, Dr. Jammine, where should we find this, likely more now than 13.5 billion rand? Where would you say it's available?
I would say that one should look right across the budget. We're really talking here about no more than 0.5% of the total budget needing to be found elsewhere. And I am sure that there are ways and means of looking where there are excesses and of identifying excesses that could easily be eliminated or reprioritized. And at the moment, there's talk about looking at the debtors book of the government and looking at what the government hopes to get in as cash over the course of the year, which has not been taken into account by the Treasury. And I think that ways could be found to redirect those funds to the present and wait for find a more expeditious time to actually collect the money.
All right, Dr. Azar Jammine, Director and Chief Economist at Econometrix.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions,
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.